What we see though is that both women and men trying to flex their power and using their talents to destroy each other. So we get her saying, well, I'm going to show him that I don't need him. I'll make sure that he knows that I don't need him. And he goes, what? Puffs chest, ego bruised, declares war because I'm intimidated. Ra ra ra. Hello. Hi, family. Hi, fam. Do I say family? I am Shoni. I'm your host. Doesn't make sense. I'm your host. Well, I'm the person behind the camera, basically. Today's topic, delicious. Today's topic is delicious for me. How I came up, how I came to the topic was that I was having a conversation with a friend of my mom's, right? We were talking about submission, what it means to submit in a relationship or in a marriage, more specifically in a marriage, right? And so I realized as we were having this conversation that I actually did not understand what submission is or what it means to be submissive in a relationship. And so as she was explaining to me what that is and what it looks like, I realized that society for the longest time has been modeling what submission looks like, or so what submission is to me. And so every time I heard the word submission, I thought I am weak and I am lesser than. I was offended when it came to topics about that, especially when I was talking to about that to men, right? Or especially when men would talk about that with me. And so it would always end up in a fight. And so I realized that this really affected me as a 16-year-old, as a 18-year-old, and as a 20-year-old, right? And so I thought, if it bothers me, then they're fucking mosquitoes. If it bothers me as a teenager and as a young adult, then there must be someone out there like me, right? And so I thought, let me address this situation. You know what I'm saying? As we were talking, she referred a book to me. Don't mind me looking here. This is where I wrote my notes on the laptop, and so no cue cards today. I was told to move with the times, with the technology, not the paper. Okay, I was saying that I read a book by Dr. Miles Monroe, the late Dr. Miles Monroe. He was a Jamaican man, I think, or a man from Jamaica, and he basically wrote this book from a biblical perspective, and so that was a bonus for me. So it's understanding the purpose and power of women. So the subtopics that we're going to talk about include the cause of conflict, of why we are fighting about our roles, gender roles. Number 2 is God's purpose. What is woman's place? The purpose and nature of humanity. Why did he make male and female? Submission, and woman as an enhancer and influencer. There's still that percentage of men who still have their own ideas about what a woman is and what she should be, and they're still imposing their biased standards on women. Why yeah, to we're both still struggling to unlearn certain cultural traditions or cultural traditions of that were made thousands of years ago by our ancestors, who didn't even know, I'm sorry to say, who didn't even know or understand what a woman is. The first thing I thought about was like, there is some stupid man in the 1500s, or I don't know what hundreds, that just decided to wake up on the left side of the bed and say, well, let me just write today, Karen, because you are physically weak, you are therefore considered as lesser than, stupid, this, that. And then they just wrote that. When you don't know the function of something, you will misuse it. A few misconceptions include: I am inferior to a man. I am an object for sensual gratification. I lack in intelligence, therefore I have nothing good to contribute to society. And Dr. Miles goes on to compare the process of how people approach marriage as the process of buying a car. He says, okay, before you buy a car, you go to various dealerships, right? You then compare the modules and the features, and like, I like that one. This one is a little too square for me. This is a little brown for me. I like a little booty in my car, whatever. And then you make your selection, right? You're like, I like this one, proper booty. And then you sign the papers, and then you drive your new car home, right? At first, everything seems effortless. You drive your car home, and then you just park it in your garage. La 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 la. You look at it. It's like, oh, beautiful. And in that time, know that you're still driving the full tank. You're still driving the full tank from the dealership. Everything's still going smooth for you, right? But you need to know and understand that it's one thing to get the car, to drive, to buy the car, but it's another thing to maintain it. Same thing with the marriage. It's one thing to get married, and it's another thing to stay married. So it says here, for the car to work for you, you need to understand its needs. There'll come a time where it needs a fuel change, it needs oil change, and it needs a repairs. Every car does. And so if you don't know and understand the needs of the car, you won't understand why it's not working for you. Meantime, the car is just like sitting there. It's like waiting for you. Like, can I work for you? What can I do for you? How can I save you, master? It's asking you that, and then you can't even understand what it needs, right? You're not attending its needs. So suppose you didn't say to yourself, well, when I am thirsty, I drink water. So maybe that's what I should give it. I should give it water, right? And then you give it water, and then oops, now it doesn't work anymore. Because the water that you put in the fuel tank then got into the system and damaged the car. So now it doesn't work at all. If you want something to function, do not give it what you need. Give it what it needs, that it can then work for you. It's important for people to understand the nature of a female, single or not, married or not, young or old, female or male. We need to be educated and knowledgeable, rather unlearn, basically. Let the old generation unlearn and the new generation learn, right? And so what is God's purpose for the woman? It says, no one knows the function of something. No one knows the function of something better than its creator. For us as the human race to make that progress, we need to go back in time. We need to see what was in the heart of the creator as he created man. The two essential principles that we should keep in mind and always know is that the purpose of something determines its nature, and the nature of something determines its function. A woman's place, number one, first and foremost, a woman's place is in God. Point blank. As soon as we grasp the implications of this truth, then we will be able to resolve the conflict surrounding gender roles. Number one, God is a God of purpose. Not every purpose is known to us because we have lost the understanding of His original content. Where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. To discover the purpose of something, ask the creator and not the creation. Isaiah 14:24 says, as I have planned, so it shall be, and as I have purposed, so it shall stand. What we've all realized by now is that a lot of us turn to talk shows and books to try, for example, keep together a relationship. And so we've completely disregarded the manual, who is God Himself. We're going to the creation for questions that we should be asking the creator. And so the first chapter in the book of Romans explains what happens when people reject or are ignorant to the purposes of God. They end up continuously abusing themselves, their bodies, their relationships, and their talents. And so Romans 1:21 says, although they knew God, they neither glorified Him as God or gave thanks to Him, but their thinking became futile and their foolish hearts were darkened. And then the next verses let us know the consequences of their decisions. It says, although they claimed to be wise, they became fools. They exchanged the truth of God for a lie and exchanged natural relations for unnatural ones. So what we've done today is we've said, okay, I acknowledge that there's a God, but I'm not gonna try to even understand what He has to say. I can ask Him for things. Oh, God, may I? God, could you please? God, can you? But we don't conform to what He has to say. So we said, okay, God, I acknowledge that you exist, but stay away from my business. Just like, stay away from my business. That's what I said. We said, okay, I know that you exist, but stay away from my business. And so when humanity rejected God, He gave them exactly what they wanted. He gave us exactly what He wanted. He then allowed us to also experience the consequences of our decisions. He didn't just say, okay, do whatever you want. He said, do whatever you want, but these are gonna be the result of your actions or the results of your actions. And these are gonna be the consequences because this is not how I made you. You cannot step out of God's purpose and expect to prevail. So, direct quote from the book, it says, some people blame the devil for the result of their actions. Don't blame the enemy. He just takes advantage of your decisions. He awaits your decisions, and then when you make a bad one, he goes, good shot. And then he'll ride it till the end or for as long as he can, and then pull you down with it or take you down with it. And so the culprit here is your decision. It is not the devil himself, right? Your choices are. So Romans 1:21 says, one of the manifestations of a deprived mind is unrighteousness and or wickedness. So we have to know that the most wicked people are wise when it comes to information. They are so sharp that they become wicked with class. Go to that wicked went to a private school, suit and tie. Some of them are gifted, and a lot of their victims don't know what hit them until it's over. For example, an example made is like a person that at work, let's talk about work, right? A person at work, let me not say the F word, freaking, let me say freaking, a person at work hates you so much, you won't even know that they hate you. You won't even know that they hate you. And because their gift might be opening doors for people. And what is he doing or what is she doing? He or she is closing doors for you. They make sure that they're going to close those doors for you. When a door comes to your vision, whether it's locked, unlocked, open or unopened, whether they lost the key, they'll make sure to destroy the door before it even gets a chance to be unlocked. That's how much they hate you. The very same gift that is meant to bless others is what they use to curse others, basically. And so what do we see here? We see that, again, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. What is the purpose and nature of humanity? Now we're going to go back to the book of Genesis. It says God created man out of love. He said, okay, I created the eons, the galaxy, the millennia, and the stars. Those things flex my power, but they aren't necessarily me. And so he wanted to make man who can then, these mosquitoes. Okay, he then made man who was created from his image, right? So why did he make male and female? What do you think? Why did he make male and female? We're going to read from Genesis 5 verse 1 to 2. It says, when God created man, he made him in the likeness of God. He created them male and female. And when they were created, he called them man. So a lot of the times in the Bible, when God addresses humanity, he doesn't say, look at those males and females down there. No, he says, look at man. Man did this. Man is man. So who is man? Man is the spirit man. And when he made the spirit man, he then split the spirit man and put them in different houses, physical houses, so that they can fulfill the purposes, right? And so the first, it says here, spirit has no gender, but the houses in which they live do. He made the first house, which was male, and the second house, which was female. And so it says here, when God placed the spirit man into the house, male, both man and God could receive and give love through their spirits. However, because man now had a physical body, he needed someone with whom he can share the human and physical love with. So this is a reflection of man's creation in the image of God. So man came from love. Man is love. Therefore, love cannot dwell alone. And so he said, okay, it's not good for man to dwell alone. So let me make a helper for him. It's a nice girl. I think men have thought for the longest time that we are their helpers, in the sense that nice girl, we are their nannies. No. Helper as in co-leader. So he said, let me make a helper suitable for him. That's in Genesis 2:18. We also, that's why we also find ourselves craving love, because that's what we're made to do. That's what we're made to give and receive. That's our human nature, literally what we were made from. Some people need the love of other humans, but they're not brave enough to pursue it. They don't have the capacity to put aside their pride, their fears, so that they can risk love with another human being. Therefore, they turn to animals for companionship. If you see, a dog can't answer back or tell you about your fault. A cat cannot point out your weaknesses. And that's why some people would rather love dogs and cats than other people. Yet animals are not of the same essence as humans, so the love isn't a fulfilled or a complete one. Complete or fulfilling one. So it's impossible for love to dwell alone. Hence, a male man was made, a female man was made, a wombed man. I was like, a wombed man. Interesting. So, you already know the process of creation. He created man to fall asleep, or he caused man to fall asleep, removed a piece on his side. A lot of people can argue that he didn't actually take the rib, he just took a piece of his side. But for the sake of what we've been thinking for the longest time, he took a piece of his rib and made a female. He just as he took a part of himself and made woman and made man, he took a part of man to make woman. So we see even in the way we're structured, male is naturally the giver and we are the receiver. So her receiving, female receiving, complements the male giving. And so these differences are complementary in nature, so that both man and woman can fulfill their mandate to have dominion over the earth, the sky, the land, and the animals. Both have dominion, regardless of what culture might say. A woman's dignity and her worth is in God. She was tasked alongside the man to have dominion over the world. Both alongside. And then you get some women. I'm superior than a man because I can give birth. Sweetie, Karen, it takes two to conceive a child, first of all. Don't even bore us. The S word is submission. Tang, tang, tang. Submission is an act of will and submission is a choice. You're not submitting because he said so. You're not submitting because society said so. You're submitting because that is your purpose. In this way, you enable your husband to become a leader. A woman can be smarter, can be more intelligent, can have the best job, and she can earn more than the man. But for the man to be what he is and what he is meant to do and do what he's meant to do, you need to submit. So we see this from Jesus. It says here, God the Father is the headship and Jesus submits to him. Even though Jesus is equal to God, he submitted himself to the Father and his plan. He is God, but he took the position of man for the sake of my redemption and yours. Purpose necessitated the position. The Godhead said, someone has to go down and submit to us, and I will do it. I'll go. I know I'm an equal in the Godhead, but for the purpose of redemption, I will be made in the likeness of man so that I can submit. My people perish for lack of knowledge. What verse is that? God even says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. But the problem also is I kind of understand where women are coming from, because some of you men are out here running around exercising illegal authority. Like, Ujabu Ispa, Usipo at the taxi rank, Utabo at work, comes to me saying, whoa, daughter, you must submit. Whoa. Sipo, Jabu, Tabo. In your own household. Not me. You'll even say, but Jesus said yes. Got you there. Jesus said, women, submit to your man. Are you my man? Ushatevani and utalebani. So you have no right to come into my household and tell me to submit to you. I do not submit to you. You are a daughter and a man in your household, not here. So if a man submitted to God, you can then deal with him from top down. So when he starts to act shisty, you can go to God and be like, this is I feel like this is wrong. So Dr. Mai said, if you are a female and you want to work for God, I tell you, when I read this, I was like, yeah, women power. It says here, if you are a female and you want to work for God, and you want to do work for God, all of heaven is ready to work for you. God says, all right, do spiritual work, but How are your relationships in the natural realm with your family, with your spouse, with strangers, with your friends? How are your relationships? It says if you go on a missionary's journey, on a missionary journey saying, I don't need the church, I can do this by myself. You're not going to find any angels supporting you. You can pray in tongues, carry a big black Bible. It won't mean anything. The angels are looking for your authority. They'll ask, who are you under? You'll be like, I'm under myself. And then they go, how can you tell us what to do when you aren't even under anybody? Submission activates heaven. When you're tormented in your dreams, or when you openly see demonic entities and you're like, leave me alone, they'll be like, under whose authority? Under myself. Okay, who are you? And they'll laugh at you. Some of you know what I'm talking about. They will laugh at you. You'll tell them to leave you alone and they'll laugh at you because you don't submit under anyone. You're not under anyone of importance. You're just under yourself. You think you are that important. No, sweetie. Those demons that are tormenting you, they will torment you and they will torment you as long as you don't submit under anyone with power. And I'm talking about divine entities, not human beings. Consider the example of Christ again. How did Christ submit himself as a man? Power. It says, when he went to John the Baptist to be baptized, John was in charge. In fact, Jesus told him, John, you have to do this. You're the one on the scene right now. I understand authority, so you have to baptize me. And I can imagine John saying, well, you should be the one baptizing me. I shouldn't be the one baptizing you. I'm nothing. And then Jesus answered, no, because if you don't baptize me, the angels aren't going to cooperate with me. And I am the Son of God. Baptize me so I can fulfill what God has ordained. This is in Matthew 3, verse 14 to 17. So if Christ submitted because of heaven, who do we think we are? When I tell you that I fainted when I read this, do you get it? Okay, so this part that I'm going to read is going to trigger some weak men. It's going to trigger some of you men. But this was written by Dr. Miles. This is a man, a married man, by the way. He quotes from 1 Corinthians 11:9. He says, neither was man created for woman, but woman for man. Have you noticed the mystery in the statement? The man was not made for the woman, but the woman for the man. This means that the woman was made for whatever the man has. All of his money, she was made for it. All of his vision, she was made for it. All of his dreams, she was made to help bring them to pass. All of his hopes, she was made to help see that they become a reality. She was made for everything about the man. This means that when a man buys a car, she gets to drive it. When he receives a bonus, she shares it. It's like when a man takes his wife out for dinner and says, well, what do you want, Karen? I can buy you anything on the menu. And then you guys order and then the food comes and then now she looks at your food like, but babe, yours looks better. Doesn't this sound familiar? Whatever the man has, she was made for it. He continues to say, my wife was made for everything that I have. Her mental faculties were made for me. Her physical body was made for me. Everything in the female was made for the man, including her intellectual ability. How many men believe this? A woman's mind is an awesome machine. Yet God gave the woman a way of thinking that will amaze you. It says if you take a little thought, a little idea, and drop it into a woman's mind, you'll never get a simple idea back. You will get a fully developed plan. What? Eric, do you know why men turn the running of the house over to their wives? A woman can take a mortgage that's overdue or a business that's falling apart and say, sit down, I can handle this. She knows how to get you through these things. She can dig you out of a hole. And the sad thing is that some men get out of that hole and they proceed to walk all over their wives. The unique abilities and contributions of the woman must be valued by the man. There's an example that my mom's friend made. There's two thrones. This is a woman's throne and this is a man's throne, right? The woman then says, No, 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 no. I want to be like a man. She then runs over to the man's throne and sits. The man's like, ah, Kant, what are you doing? And you're like, I want to be like a man. Meanwhile, you left your duties. Who's going to take care of that? Things are piling up on your side and you're out just suffocating the man. So both of you guys are sinking now because you are in his space. Wamutaida, and you guys are both falling. He's falling because you don't know your place. And the moment that he tries to go that side, he will fail because he's not equipped and he does not know what it takes to run a queendom. He can't even go that side. Do you understand? He can't even go that side because he'll fail. If he gets out and you stay, you fail. And so you are in the man's throne and he tries to be in yours. And you guys are both falling because you don't understand your purpose. If you don't know your identity in God, it's going to be easy. It's going to be so easy for the world to dismantle you. They're going to tell you who you are, and you're going to live as who they tell you you are. We're struggling today because our forefathers decided to change the design of what was and what will always be. The woman takes who the man is and expands it. In this way, their shared reality or their shared vision becomes a reality. If a man has a vision, it should be the woman's number one priority to make sure that vision becomes a reality. But also remember, ladies, his vision should be God's vision. What we see though is that both women and men trying to flex their power and using their talents to destroy each other. So we get her saying, well, I'm going to show him that I don't need him. I'll make sure that he knows that I don't need him. And he goes, what? Puffs chest, ego bruised, declares war because I'm intimidated. Ra, ra, ra. What is the vision that God gave man? He says, here's the garden. Subdue it, work it, cultivate it, and multiply it to make it better than it is. So in other words, he's saying, here's the earth. I gave you the earth. There are seeds in the ground that haven't bore fruit yet. Harvest them. There is gold in the mountains. Dig it up. There are diamonds in the rough. Mine them. And I will give you a suitable helper to make sure that everything goes right. Again, not nice girl. A co-leader. What does the helper do? What does the helper do? What does female do? Female blesses, supports, and honors the man. The man is then a cover, protects, and is a head to the female. A man feeds on respect. You can't have two different separate visions in a household. A house divided against itself will not stand. Point blank. Don't be quick to push a man down when he falls. Say, hey, you could have millions or nothing, but you are still God's covering for me. You need to understand, ladies, that your blessings are powerful. You take a world and you can build it, burn it down, and build it again without getting your hands dirty. Why do you think it took a woman to take down Samson? Why did it take Delilah to take down Samson? Influence. Influence. Do you understand that you, oh, chow, you are the yeast. Yeast. You are the yeast to the dough. You take stagnant water and flour mixture, and when they add you, baby girl, when you want your man to get a haircut, you don't go, babe, you look ugly. I don't like you in this haircut. You look raggedy. I don't like your hairline. Her. That's you. That's not how you do it. Man, how you need to master how you get a man to do something. You don't go, babe, you look ugly. You. No. You go, babe, you know that hairstyle that you like doing with the and the line and the where your hairline is looking all straight. I mean, you look cute now, but like that hairstyle in particular, he'll be like, yeah, I think it's cute. Watch that man go get his haircut. Why? Influence. It's not about the message, it's about the method in which you deliver the message. Don't now. I am, therefore, ha. Power is not, power is, power is here. It's not here. So stop being here and be here and here. So always remember, you are everything that you think that you are. You are amazing, you are beautiful, you are intelligent, and you are worthy. I don't care what your forefathers said, I don't care how they devalue you, as long as you know your worth and you know what you are made for, there will always be someone made for you. And if you're both aligned, there will not be any toxic nature of competition trying to destroy each other, this, that. It's important to not just submit under anyone, because not anyone is worthy of your submission. You submit under a man with vision. This is the airplane. You are the propeller. You fly that. You fly that. You propel his vision. You submit under his vision. His vision is here. It's the plane. You. Again, if after hearing all this, if after hearing all that I said, and you still want to be like a man, you don't know your worth. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. Don't be shy to let me know what you want me to speak about. Even though I don't know about the topic of conversation, I can still do my research and give you my perspective on it, and so we can discuss it. So my question to you today is, what do you think submission is, or how have you viewed it, and what would you like people to know? How has your view of submission affected your relationships so far? And you as a woman or as a man, like, doesn't matter what age you are, if it affected me at the age of 16, then it clearly is a problem. Whether you're 16 or 25 or even 54, you still need to learn and unlearn certain things. And so, like I said, let me know what you think about it, and thank you for watching my video.